I didn't want to go to her birthday. Not because I didn't care. Not because I was busy. And not because I chose someone else over her. I didn't want to go because I already knew how that evening would end. And I knew that if I told her the real reason, everything would become more complicated. We had been friends for several years. It wasn't a toxic friendship. There were no constant arguments, no loud conflicts, just something familiar and calm. She had her own life. I had mine. We were different, but for a long time, it felt like that didn't really matter. Over time, I started noticing small things. She joked about my boundaries, said I was too careful, that I should relax a little, and stop taking everything so seriously. A few times, I clearly said no without anger, without explanations. Just no. She smiled, as if it wasn't serious, as if it was temporary, as if I would eventually change my mind. That was the first time I felt uncomfortable. And I stayed quiet. When she invited me to her birthday, at first it sounded normal, a small group, a celebration, just a regular evening. Then she told me who else would be there. People I didn't know, people I didn't feel comfortable around. I didn't panic. I didn't argue. I just felt that familiar tightness inside. The same feeling that quietly tells you something isn't right. I already knew how it would go. I would sit there pretending I was fine, smiling, waiting for the moment when I could finally leave. I thought for a long time about whether I should tell the truth. I really did. But I could already imagine her reaction. The sighs, the irritation, the phrases like, "You're overreacting," or "You're making things complicated again." So I chose the easier option. I said I couldn't come, that I already had plans, something neutral, without details. It felt like the safer choice. I thought staying quiet would be gentler than being honest. I thought it would end simply. She got angry. Much more than I expected. She said I had chosen someone else over her, that I didn't appreciate her, that I was a bad friend. The conversation spiraled quickly. Suddenly the problem wasn't the birthday, not my discomfort, not my boundaries. The problem was me. My feelings disappeared, as if they had never existed. And that's when I understood something important, not because of her anger, but because of what she never asked. She didn't ask if I felt uncomfortable. She didn't ask what was bothering me. She didn't ask what I needed. The only thing that mattered to her was why I didn't do what she expected. That's when I realized something else. Even if I had told the truth from the beginning, the reaction would have been the same. It wasn't about the lie. It was about my boundaries. I kept replaying the situation in my head, over and over again. Was I wrong for not explaining myself? Was I wrong for choosing the easier excuse? Or maybe I was wrong for thinking I needed permission just to say no. I wasn't avoiding the celebration. I was avoiding the moment when I wouldn't be hurt again. And that was a big difference. We talk a lot about honesty in relationships, about openness, about speaking directly. But we rarely talk about how exhausting it is to constantly defend your boundaries, how tiring it is to explain yourself to people who don't actually want to listen. At some point, silence feels safer than the truth. Not because you're weak, but because you're tired. I didn't lie because I wanted to hurt anyone. I lied because I already knew the outcome. And maybe the real question isn't whether I should have told the truth. Maybe the question is this: why do some people believe they're entitled to your presence, but get offended by your boundaries? And how many times do we stay silent, not to keep the peace, but to avoid being made to feel guilty for protecting ourselves?